Okay. Hold on to your kneecaps, Jericho2221, because I got a barn burner for you this time. Wrestlemania. How can you possibly look at this insultingly lackluster pay-per-view card and call this Wrestlemania? Are you seriously going to spend $55 or $60 of your hard-earned money to watch Big Show versus Floyd Mayweather, Bradshaw versus Finlay, and Umaga versus Batista? Okay, let's take a step back and look at this with an objective eye, okay? There are a maximum of 3 reasons why any of you might want to order this show. The Money in the Bank ladder match, which is always good, even though they're going to have to get somebody else to do the Jeff Hardy spot this year because he got his ass suspended again. Ric Flair's retirement match, and maybe Edge versus Undertaker. And that is it. And what about the rest of this piece of crap card? Okay, we've got Finlay and Bradshaw feuding over a fucking leprechaun. And let's discuss the story of this thing, okay? The story is that Finlay secretly conspired with members of the McMahon family to make Vince believe that Hornswoggle was his bastard son for some reason, and then stood by for half a year while Vince tried to destroy Hornswoggle by sicking Carlito on him, by sicking Great Khali on him, by doing all this other crap too. And now that Bradshaw reveals all this to Vince and destroys the little turd in a steel cage finally, now all of a sudden Finlay is supposed to be the sympathetic babyface in this program? Do you realize how completely ass-backwards that is? Are you seriously trying to tell me that all those months and months and months of Hornswoggle getting shoved up all our asses has all been building up to a match at WrestleMania between Finlay and Bradshaw? Are you kidding me? If Y2J couldn't pull a good match out of Bradshaw, what makes you think Finlay's got a chance in hell? Oh, and by the way, did I mention that they're feuding over a fucking leprechaun? Then there's Batista and Umaga. Okay, first of all, this match is going to suck. Second, this thing only came about in the first place because the writers woke up a few days ago and realized that neither of these guys had Mania spots yet, so they decided to throw something together haphazardly with no storyline at all. And this brand superiority thing is a complete joke because it's totally meaningless. It makes no difference who wins the match because, as we all know, in Vince's mind, in terms of level of importance, Raw is always going to be up here, and SmackDown is always going to be down here. Now what about this joke of a main event? You got John Cena, who, while he might be very charismatic, while he might be great on the stick, he's a mid-card level wrestler who is incapable of delivering great matches unless he's in there with somebody like HBK to carry him. There's Randy Orton, who's not credible as the world champion for reasons I've stated before. There's Triple H, who's stale as weak old shit, hasn't updated his act in 10 years, and that is the best they could that is our WrestleMania main event? That's the best they could come up with to headline the biggest show of the year, Triple H and John Cena again with Randy Orton thrown in the middle? And what else does this show have? We got a Bunny Mania Lumberjack match, which is going to be atrocious, and throwing Snoop Dogg in there isn't going to change that. We got Chavo Guerrero going to defend the ECW title against a challenger to be determined at the show, as if that means anything, since that belt is as meaningless as the tag team titles these days. And let's not forget the biggest atrocity in this farce of a pay-per-view, Big Show and Floyd Mayweather. First of all, the writers can't seem to get it through their skulls that everybody and their brother hates Mayweather. Then there's the little fact that all this attention, all this hype, is building up to a match between one guy who's never been that great in the ring unless he was in there with Brock Lesnar, and another guy who's never even gotten in the ring and taken a bump. It's not even a real match. It's just there as some lame-ass publicity stunt to get more buys for the show so they can scrape up enough cash to justify Mayweather's gigantic paycheck. It's not in the service of putting on a good show. It's only about garnering more attention because Vince has to have as much attention as he can have, and he'll bring in any celebrity he wants, blow any amount of money he has to on them to get it. That's why he brought in Donald Trump last year. That's why he brought in Mayweather. That's why he's bringing in Snoop Dogg and Kim Kardashian and 50 Cent. It's just about getting more eyeballs on the screen. But the problem with this is that Vince doesn't realize, or worse, he doesn't care, that the show those eyeballs are going to be watching, at least on paper, is absolutely terrible. It's just a bunch of fancy schmancy stuff with no substance whatsoever. This is the Alien vs. Predator Requiem of WrestleMania cards. Even most of the good things about this show have a black cloud hanging over them. Ric Flair's retirement match might have meant a lot more if they hadn't half-assed this whole retirement angle from the very beginning and hadn't just made Flair, who is the greatest wrestler of all time, basically get dominated in a street fight by Vince McMahon. And then there's Edge versus Undertaker. And this will be a good match because those guys deliver on pay-per-views. But I think we all pretty much know how it's going to end. And Edge, I'm sorry, you've got to be sacrificed to Taker, man. You deserve to go over here. But if you do, then Vince can't sell any 16-0 DVDs next year. So you're out of luck. And there you have it. That's WrestleMania 24. You know, WrestleMania used to be the biggest show of the year. It was the show that we would look forward to all year long. And now it's nothing but a big joke. It's an overrated, overhyped piece of garbage. Aside from the Money in the Bank ladder match, what is there on this show that distinguishes it from No Way Out and the Great American Bash or any of the other, 20 pay-per-views that they put on over the course of the year? Nothing. This card is awful on paper, and odds are it's going to be just as bad, if not worse, than last year's WrestleMania, and that is really saying something. So why don't you do yourself a huge favor and not order it? Don't waste your money. Order Lockdown instead. Or order the next ROH pay-per-view. Hell, order both. Spend less money and order 2 better shows. Don't give WWE your hard-earned money because they do not deserve it, and you know it.